Hello, everybody. It is 1:51. I just finished up my 3JS video, and now I'm working on a new video, and I don't know exactly which one it is. And I will say that I'm really so I've been coding for like, I don't know, just shy of 50 years, right? I've been coding pretty much on a daily basis. Um, and like I know how to do a lot of things, but I'm not sure exactly what it is I'm doing, like so that is a thing. And one of the skills that I know that I had to develop that way was really difficult for me to develop. It took me years and years and years to develop. And honestly, I wouldn't have made it as a developer for this long if I hadn't developed if I hadn't figured this skill out. And the skill is being able to come up to speed on what you're working on. And so I know that on the weekends I work on there's two voice related projects that I'm working on. And one of them is called Say Hello. And the reason I know what they are is because I have this set of folders here. And see, I have Say Hello and Space and Time. And I also have another one on my desktop uh, called Flashcard Builder. I believe I'm working on Flashcard Builder, just because I kind of went through all three just now, like talking to you just here and now. So I know like I've worked at a lot of places. Like when I worked at this one place, CNN, for example, we had this Java thing, and had like Eclipse, and all of us sort of front end people, like basically we had to just leave our laptop on 24/7, um, and then bring it up. And if Eclipse ever crashed or whatever, we needed help to get our system up and running so we could run our system locally. Is not a fun way to live. So I've always made sure especially like when you first start a place, that's when you really don't want to shut your stuff down and get it up again. But that's when you will be given the most sort of grace for that. So like if you start a brand new job and then you turn your computer off, you shut it all the way down the next day, you're like, oh crap, I can't remember. Am I supposed to start this database? Am I supposed to start Docker? What's the process again? Um, if you do that on a daily basis, after a few weeks, it's just you could do it in your sleep. Um, but anyway, so I am kind of coming to a place where this is the first time I've ever had like this many projects I'm working on, and that I have like 7 days in between. But basically, I'm pretty sure it's flashcard, and if I remember correctly, if I click on repositories, it kind of shows them sorted in the last time I worked. So media system is something that I work on in the evenings. Flashcards is well, okay, so it looks like flashcard is actually something I worked on. Um, so it looks like Sunday might be what I work. It looks like Say Hello is what I work on 4 days a week. The other way I can kind of tell is I can look at recents, and I can see that, okay, yeah, Say Hello was the last one I worked on. So it looks like I'm working on Say Hello. Let's go ahead and just make sure everything's shut down on this 3JS one. And so we're going to go over to Say Hello. And so my first thing that whenever I do this is I'll look down here at the name of the branch. A lot of times when I shut down, I make sure that I'm on the branch that is what I'm working on. So let's see. We can also go to our Say Hello and we can look at our issues. And I think I noticed that whenever okay, so I only have two issues, and one of them is probably assigned. Yes. So this means that this is what I'm actively working on. This means this one hasn't been. Okay, so this I got hung up last week, if I remember correctly, on the fact that when I run my Cypress tests, I don't get 100%, and that's because apparently there's no way to do it. So I think what I would rather do is make this a variable instead of a signal. Boom, and boom. So now we have a title named Say Hello, or named title. I think if we go into here, we probably have to change this. App.html. Yeah, instead of it being a function call, make it like this, and I believe we'll have 100%. I do not think that people, development teams in a like a highly professional environment that requires unit tests coverage are going to be willing to just say, well, sorry, I can't test a branch. And so I don't think there's any good answers for that. So let's just go. So that is a decision I've made. npm run test. And this should run all my unit tests. And let's see what, I don't know if my test is going to say. I don't think there's going to be a problem, right? So I think that should work. So we should be passing, and I think we'll have 100%. And I don't know what the heck just happened. Oh, that's right. So this is unlike like my 3JS one. This one actually has the top project has two projects. One is my Cypress, and one is my Say Hello. And the biggest reason I did it that way is because like in here we actually specify the version of TypeScript. So that's in the top level package. That's in the package. See, I thought maybe that is no longer the case, but I had in one of my other projects, um, we specified the version of TypeScript. But I wonder if I can even do TypeScript. Guess so I probably can't do TypeScript in this project, which I probably would like to do. So that is a thing. So let's go ahead and make an issue for that. Let me look at my Cypress functions. I think it's in here. Yeah, exists. So this does not support. So Cypress can support TypeScript, but it doesn't. Apparently, not out of the box. It doesn't support it out of the box. So let's go ahead and let's just double check. Let's do a new chat. Um, is it difficult to support TypeScript in TypeScript in Cypress? I don't even know if that makes sense. That's weird English. Linglish. Okay, so I have that. What are my compiler options? Let's look at the compiler options. And there's never a better time. Okay, so I don't even have a TS. Is it in here? All right. Why am I so confused here? Okay, install Cypress saved as, rename the spec file. So change that to .ts inside of the Cypress config. I guess they're saying I should rename this to TS, Cypress config TS, and then add a TS config to extend. So then we'll add this, and then okay. So then I think what'll okay. So okay. So let me ask. I'm curious. Um, um, because other projects seems Cypress seems to need a version of TS defined in the package. Is real ecosystem quirk, but not Cypress being bad at TypeScript. Um, Okay. So, okay. Okay, so TypeScript project. I don't know if it's in or for. Okay, so it left that part out. So apparently I should. Okay, so it looks like I need to install TypeScript. Okay, so anyways, it looks like this is going to be more difficult. This isn't like a one-liner, like little rabbit hole to go to. It looks like it needs to be um, that. So enable TypeScript for TypeScript. I don't even know how the words should be. Cypress. That doesn't feel right. So okay, so I'm gonna just say that to ChatGPT. Trying. Okay, let me do this while I'm doing that. Let's go over here and type in Cypress. No, not Cypress. What is the name of this? dir. Say hello. cd say hello UI. PM run test. All right, because that's going to take it a minute. So let's go ahead. Okay, I'm trying to create an issue for this. Um, my current title is, let's just do this. Enable TypeScript for Cypress. But that does not seem right. It's wild that it takes it this long to run this just a couple little tests. Can't already use type making types explicit supported. Okay. Make typers an there, that's a much better title. Make Okay, so now we have 100% coverage, and literally all we did was change that from a signal to a variable. Make type Great. So this is so right now all Cypress scripts need to be written in JS. Convert support support use TS please. Um, and hit create. And that will be probably 2 weeks from now. So, anyways, it looks like we are good on this though. So I think we're done with this issue. Add a new type. So I believe, yeah. Oh, okay. So we want a test. It's Cypress test that checks the title. Right. So right now we just have the exists. Um, so I'm going to put an O. So so we have kind of have this scheme where it's 0, 0, 1. I think anything with 0, 0. How do we want to do this? Because I want them sort of to lay out in a very smart way. I guess zero. I guess what we should have done is like 010. We can still do this now. So let's rename this. So 01 things are going to be like just making sure that things exist. But 02 things, and hopefully I remember this in the future, new file. 020 is are going to be more content related ones. So title, validate title, cy.js. And so, and then obviously like this is going to make the new issue a little bit harder because then we have another file that we'll have to do that too. Okay, so but we do know that the very first thing is we go here and then we want to find this title. Um, okay, so and we know that the title from our unit test, we learned from our unit test that the title was "Say Hello, Coming Soon." Okay, okay, so basically in here, so in Cypress to get, I want to add code to check for this text. Yep. Okay. CY contains hello coming soon. And then we'll just do this. We'll add that in here. And then we'll run this test. Okay, we're done in unit tests. Then we'll come over here. Oh, this is the right place. Nope, we want to go to Cypress. Let's see. I always forget to hit the freaking tab. And then I think it's npm run Cypress open. Okay. And so tomorrow when I work on the Flash builder, it's going to be like, oh, we need to get Cypress where we, basically we're kind of these two projects are sort of going together in parallel, probably for the next few months, I would guess. Let's see if my other video made it up yet. Hello, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript Party. It did. It's up there at YouTube now. They added like kind of a new thing where you have to say like it has to do some sort of test or something to make sure you didn't say anything that violates community standards. And so now it takes a little while, and every once in a while I'll upload it and it didn't actually work. But this video is almost over. We are waiting for Cypress to come up. There we go, configured. And this stuff's kind of a pain in the butt, and it's always very frustrating because you just want to freaking go. You want to go. You want to do stuff. But the problem is this all these things are so much harder to do later. They're very, very straightforward and simple now, and then they get much, much harder to do. All right, so exists 14 days ago. There's so much waiting when you sort of start doing. That's like kind of the other thing is like when you're doing like your own projects and stuff. Um, it's like you can just code. You just lock in and code for like 4 hours straight, and you get to where you almost become addicted to that. Um, but you cannot do that in enterprise environments. You just can't. You end up like, or not always, but in a lot of enterprise uh, environments, you end up with a lot of like this, where you're just waiting for different tools to come up and do their pieces. And the thing is like you can do. Oh, we never started it. That makes sense. Um, the problem is you can do a lot of stuff in parallel. Like it would have been nice if I had started that while and that had been doing while we were waiting for this to happen. But like it's so hard to keep your train of thought if you do that. So, but in this, we kind of have to keep in mind that like when I shut down in a few minutes, that hey, I'm gonna have to come up to speed next week, so I need to put myself in a position. Okay, so that worked, and that worked. So we're good. Both of all of our unit tests, we have 100% coverage. Our end-to-end test covers everything that our application does right now. So that is a good thing. Um, I think we're ready for a commit, and this is a super commit. There's a lot of changes. We don't care about the package lock. That's the one thing that I just always just ignore. I'm definitely open to not ignoring it, but yeah, that's a good change. That's a good change. So I guess it, yeah, I'm probably doing myself a favor if I do this. Git add dot, and they get commit dash m, and this is going to be video. Say hello. Video 4. And this is issue 4. And this is going to um, removes basically just removes the default stuff, right? That's all this issue is like remove. Um, yeah, default. Good. And that is that. Let's see. We'll update. We'll do our everything's staged. Not everything is staged. These are not staged. And I don't know if we even reviewed all this stuff. And this is a super commit, so I don't even know if I guess I won't do super commits in this. Let's see if I still need to do super commits now that I'm sort of folding things out into their own issues. Like I think as long as I had issue, it'd be like the last issue 4. I don't need to, since the issue is in here. I know that an issue is complete. We'll see. We'll see how that all works out. Like that's the whole one of the major benefits to doing this is to try different things and see what works and what doesn't work. Um, all right, so now over here, and now we're going to go to our code. We should have a new branch. Yep. So we have our new branch. We're going to commit that. I'm going to assign this PR to myself. Create a pull request. I'm just going to take a quick look at all the different changes. They all look good to me. So I'm going to create the pull request. And then it should do an analysis to see if there's any conflicts with the code, which would be something like if another pull request was taken, they may have made changes to the exact same things that I'm making changes to. So we have to sort of circle back and account for that and confirm. And then I want to delete the branch. And then I think my issue is now closed. So then, okay, so we have 2 issues now. One is to set up the dream host and the other is to make the TypeScript explicitly support Okay, so I actually do would rather do this one than this one now, even though we are out of order. So what I'll do is I'll do that, and I'm going to assign it to myself. So what makes that what's so that will help me tomorrow or next Saturday when I come in because I'll be able to come in and see that this is what I'm working on. Um, because that's gonna be 7 days from now. That's gonna feel like a million years in 7 days. So then I'm gonna create this branch, and I want to check it out locally. Comment, and so Control V, and this is all, most of this, what I'm doing right now is just in preparation for next Saturday. So next Saturday when I come in to work on Say Hello, I'll be like, oh, what's the name of this? Okay, this is 6. Okay, this is issue 6, blah, 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 blah. And then come over here and look at it, make TypeScript an explicit supported dependency so Cypress can reliably consume it. Oh, okay. Now I remember what I'm doing. Okay, and then hopefully I'll remember that I need to install. First step will be to install TypeScript into the this project. So basically what's happening is inside of this guy, like inside of Say Hello UI, that's Angular, and Angular supports a specific TypeScript. TypeScript this was a brand new project built in Angular 21, and this is a TypeScript that it supports. No, Cypress likely supports a different version of TypeScript. So both of them have the ability to take TypeScript and convert it into JavaScript, but they probably are not the same. Um, and there's probably no guarantee that they will stay in sync, and that's the biggest reason why I have two different projects. I don't have Cypress inside of my Say Hello project because uh, if the if the if the TypeScripts that they support diverge, that could be a mess, I think. I've never experienced that mess, but boy, does it feel like it would be really bad. So, like that's something like you kind of have to, like when you're talking to technical people and you're trying to talk technical, like kind of a it's hard to express like, hey, this is a problem and I've experienced this problem. Man, this is a problem. This seems like this would lead to a lot of problems that I've experienced before. That's the problem. That's where I think we're at right now. Is if my node modules, inside of this node modules, there's code to support TypeScript. And then inside this node modules, there's code to support TypeScript. And then inside of this node modules, there's code to support TypeScript. And there's no guarantee that the version that Cypress wants to use is going to be the same one that's the version that Angular wants to use. We used to kind of have this problem when I worked at CNN that was very similar to this. And basically anything that was like a front end dependency, we we use this thing that was called Bower, and Bower would manage all of our front end dependencies, and then all of our node dependencies would be handled with npm, and that was really nice because sometimes our node project would use a different version of some library, would support a different version of some library um, than the front end, and so it was important that we kept those dependencies in separate, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. And I've never actually experienced this problem where I have an Angular project, and within the Angular project is still in in the project that has Angular also has no Cypress installed, and then their versions of TypeScript like drifted, so that was a problem. And the thing is even in the last, or in I think in my other project, my 3JS project, um, Cypress and Angular are in the same folder, and at some point I ended up, I think the Angular TypeScript is different than what Cypress supports, and it hasn't been a problem. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the deal is, but I do know I'd rather have my Cypress completely separate than my Say Hello. So anyways, happy coding. Bye.